Hi guys, if you have like a HobbyWing 1060 ESC that comes in a lot of the newer Tamiya kits, and you like the convenience of the on-off switch from like at the Tamiya ESC, like this TBLE 02S or 02S, and you know, well, for example, CW01 chassis, you can't mount this on-off switch in its own location down here in the bottom. It's hard to see, but anyone with this chassis knows what I'm talking about. Or a lot of other Tamiya kits, really. These switches do not bolt into those spots. So what I did, I picked up a few of these Hobby Park on-off switches, but they got the both male and female lead on those. And if you look at the difference, there's only one lead on the Tamiya ESC, as well as the HobbyWing. Now, how do I go from here to the way this looks? Well, first, what you got to do is you're going to want to measure the length. And this appears that I'm going to have to cut it off right here, and cut this off right here to get the length that's standard with the Tamiya ESC. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, now that I got mine cut, I actually cut it a little shorter because I do not need that whole long lead for that chassis, because this is going to stay in that truck permanently. I don't have plans of moving it. But now here's the other issue. What am I going to do with this? Now technically, I could have plugged it in to here, plugged this end into the receiver, as well as this into the receiver, so you'd have to plug both of them into the receiver. Leave the original on-off switch on, and then turn the whole system on and off with this, which is kind of gawky. Here comes the tricky part, and if you're not comfortable with this, I don't recommend you trying it. But if you have a little bit of patience and the ability to do it, I mean, if you go back to the, where is it? Here it is. Like the old ACOMs or Futaba styled radios that actually had the power coming, just like this little lead right here, coming off the ESC that this would plug into, and that would plug into the receiver. And once you plug the battery into the speed controller, it gets power, and then you can turn it on. This is off the Fox. This is the mechanical speed controller. Again, I'm not using it because it broke. It was broke when I got it. Excuse me. And I glued it together, but I don't trust it. So, but the old ACOMs, Futaba, anything else that used the 4-cell battery pack and or the power off the mechanical speed controller had this setup. And the newer ones with ESCs, well, they only got one wired, because once you plug the battery in, it's got power, and then when you turn it on, the whole system powers up. Then you got your power going out of the lead into the receiver, so on and so forth. You get the idea. So let me get some things gathered, and I'll show you what I do. Okay, one of the things you're going to need is an assortment of shrink tubing, because you're going to have different sizes to cover the wires individually. And then what I do is I'll take like a black one or something. And obviously that's too long, and I would slip it over all of it first, and then when I shrink wrap the smaller wires together, then I pull this down, shrink that down around it, and that'll work. The other thing that you're going to need is some sort of soldering tool. I always use a gun, and it's not the best for small little work like this, but I'm used to using it. So this is what I'm going to be using, and we'll see that in use later. And then some sort of precision screwdriver, because you got to get these tabs off of this outer case. Now I already broke one of these trying to do this, so what I ended up doing is I took an X-Acto blade or an X-Acto knife or a hobby knife, whatever you want to call it, and I started trimming the tabs up, just so I can get in here a little easier, because it did not come apart like I thought it should have. So let me get this apart. I'll be right back. Okay, on-off switch plate that says on-off is off, and that exposes the plastic in the inside to get this apart. So let's get that apart. I'll be right back. Okay, so with this type of on-off switch, as you can see, it's got the bigger wires on here. Now, if you find a switch or even an old burnt out Tamiya ESC that doesn't work, you could use the switch and the wires off of that. Makes life a lot simpler than doing it this way. However, this is problematic, but it looks like I ended up cutting the right one, because as you can see, the red lead is in the center on both tabs. So what I'm going to do is I am going to cut this black one right here, because it doesn't need to be there. So now all I got to do is unsolder this, and in order for me to do that, I have to get my soldering iron or soldering gun hot, which you should have your soldering iron hot as well. The higher the wattage, the better it's going to be for this stuff, but let me get this all set up and I'll show you what I'm doing. Alright guys, so iron's heating up. I'm going to try to keep this in frame the best I can, and what I want to do is I want to get this hot and unsolder that, just like that. I'll bring it up to you in a second. That's off. Now that's perfect, because now it's got solder on that side of the switch, and what I got to do is I got to strip some of these wires and get this tinned and onto that post, and I'll be right back. I'll do the soldering work on camera, but get the rest of this stuff ready. I'll be right back. Remember, put the largest piece of shrink tubing on your lead before you do anything else. That way when you separate these, and you separate them long enough, you'll have enough room to put your thinner shrink tube on there to insulate the other wires on the ESC itself. So I'll be right back. Okay, as you can see, I got the shrink tubing way down here for insulating the wires to the ESC and on-off switch. We got the large piece to cover that all up, and got that one ready for some little bit of flux and a little bit of solder. Then I gotta put it back in there and solder it up. So let's get that done. Okay guys, I got that wire tinned. I'm about to stick it on here if I can. go. That one's secure. All right, not as flat as I would like it, but there was still a lot of solder on there, but it'll work. And best thing about it is no one's going to see it when you're done. So let me get this straightened out and get these wires tinned up, and I'll be right back again. All right, guys, got this in my little helping hands right here. This is going to be a little bit crazy. I hope this is going to work. So, got the flux, a little bit of solder, and it's tinned. And that should be a solid connection. Come on now. Thank you. Thank you. Yep, that's a solid connection. And when you slide the shrink tubing over that, that'll work. Let me tin this. Well, get some flux on it anyway. That's what I meant to say. Okay. Slap that in there. I'm trying to keep my fat hands out of the way. That in there. And yes, I use some very old solder that I had probably for 30 years. Same with the flux. It's some old stuff. And you know what? If it still works, why change a thing? So, you know what? I need to clean my tip. All right, there you go. Always have a clean tip. Word of the day, clean tip. Uh-oh, that one's not working so good. All right, well, good enough. It'll work for what I wanted to do. And we're going to test this when I'm done anyway, so. All right, helping hands out of the way. Shrink tubing, and let me go find the heat source. I'll be right back. All right, had to steal the wife's lighter because I quit smoking a year ago, and I no longer needed a lighter. So, you little son of a gun. Put that on there. There we go. That'll work. A little heat on that. And normally I would stagger the wires so they're not bunched up in the same spot, but I'm just doing this real quick. That'll fit in there. And there we go. Now, on and off switch. Okay, that's clipped back in. That should be off, that should be on. Yes, I probably should test this before I put this all back together, but I have a little bit of confidence in myself because I've done this quite a few times already, and I am just trying to see if indeed it does work. And as I said, we're going to test this. I'm sorry if this video is getting along a little longer than normal, but I got to go find a few more things because, again, I set things up and I'm not ready for it, so I'll be right back. All right, guys, as you can see, I got the battery plugged into the speed controller. I got the speed controller plugged into a receiver. I got the motor wires connected to a motor. Got the, I really hate this radio because that wheel's a piece of junk. The control knobs are backwards. You go right, it goes left. You go left, it goes right. Just a piece of well, anyway, getting back to the on-off switch. So when I just soldered up, you can see the joint there. I got some beeps. Listen to that interference already. But on-off switch appears to work. Turn it off. It's done. Turn it back on. Ooh, my epic motor's loose. So, yep, it's all working, guys. That's good news for me. Now, do I have enough lead on there for that to fit into that chassis? Let's see. Oh yeah, on-off switch will go down here, and I got room to put it all the way back up there. So I got room. Very good. Successful. Thank you guys for watching. Any comments or questions, leave them below. And again, this is just me. I like to have the on-off switch where I could reach it. On some models, it's a pain in the you-know-what, derriere, if you will, because with a hard body, it's hard to get your finger around the body to hit the switch if it's low slung. And unlike a Lexan, where you can just lift it up, I like doing this. And a package of 3 of those connectors was like $8 or $9 off of Amazon. Go with a little higher quality than these, but I got an extra lead for a fan now, or LEDs, and the pumpkin does have LEDs in it, so I already got a lead on there, but this would have worked for that. Plug it into the receiver. Good enough, guys. Again, thanks for watching. Comments, questions, leave it below, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good day, good week, good month, good year. See you on the next one. See ya.